Welcome, welcome, welcome. Episode 15 of the Daily B with MATY.B show. Woo! Got Samantha Moir on today. A bit of an impromptu episode where me and Samantha connected only a few days back. She was sort of connected through me of a friend, of someone that's been, Jasmine, who's been, supporting and watching me for a while. And it's been really cool to connect with some really, really amazing people. So, guys, I'm really excited to have Samantha on, talk to us about her Warrior Women program, to share a bit of her knowledge and insights when it comes to social media, networking, connecting, and just how to get yourself out there. Let's get her on and see where we go with this. I'm really excited because I'm just going to pick her brain and you guys are going to sort of live vicariously and learn vicariously through me. So, yeah, let's see where it goes. And also, I am...
Hello. How you going? We're good.
I'm good. I can hear my echo.
Oh, can you?
Yeah. Are you using your phone?
Yeah, I am. I might just have my headphones.
I think you might have to get it out of the back on when your headphones are already plugged in.
Okay, no problem.
All right.
Okay.
Let's roll.
Bye.
I feel like I'm getting better at dealing with this whole echoey situation. Next lesson is preempt and... All right, I'll add you now. Samantha, let's see how that goes. Add. Boom. It's really warm today. I forgot that it's coming up to summer. I just thought coming down to Victoria.
Better. How's that?
That's better.
Is that better? Beautiful.
So much better.
Yeah.
So did you just come on with your headphones plugged in? Is that the only difference?
Yes. So as long as they're, so much better. We got it down.
That's it. How's your day?
Oh, I had a great day. I just did a little mini workshop with some of the group members in my Warrior Women online group, and it was all around personal responsibility and creating your own fate, and I just feel fired up now. It's always a real pump session when we do that.
Awesome. I find with that, I really need to pick my crowds, because a lot of the time when we're in those sort of communities or groups or people that have come to join us specifically to sort of learn and to grow, it's set that context already. But I'm so used to speaking on this and helping people with this so frequently that when I'm just out and about in the real world, it just comes up and comes out of me, and it's like, no, these people are not ready for this. These people have not signed up for this lesson in life, and it's full on.
Well, sometimes it's not even that they're ready, but sometimes just being confronted with it, even if they're not going to action it, sometimes it's just enough for them to question what's going on. And sometimes that's just the beautiful thing as well. Sometimes just being that pivotal moment,
100%. So for those that don't know you, can you share a little bit about who Samantha Moir is?
Oh, God, I've got so much going on, so you better take a seat. I am the presenter on the Power FM station here in Toowoomba, and I have the Warrior Women radio show, which is a show that I started back when I first thought about the business that I have, about being able to platform women who didn't have the huge advertising budgets to kind of put themselves out there and spending a lot of money. So I kind of was seeking out platforms that I could get onto to help leverage them up and get them on there talking, help build their confidence when it comes to, around media and around being able to get that traction with their websites and things like that. So I do that, and that's just opened up a whole other thing now. And then I do some, it's the doors that have opened with that and the people that I've been able to speak to, both so I've been doing that, I think about 5-6 months, only recently.
That's really fresh.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. And then they have an affiliate, Power TV, here in Toowoomba as well. So I do a bit of like roving reporting with them too. So I'll go out to events and interview people on their experience and what they were So I've been to like little movie premieres, and we went to the Unleash the Beast, which was the mental health symposium held here in Toowoomba, and I got to meet all the writers and all those people and got to interview them. So that was really, really fun.
Very cool.
And then, we've just started up a little kind of online show for me. So I get to sit down kind of Oprah style and just really pick apart different people that are coming into Toowoomba and doing really amazing things and just kind of understanding who they are.
Beautiful. So it's all moving really quickly.
Yeah, it's been I've spread myself really thin, but because my base is still coming out of the Warrior Women Network, so that's expanding a lot next year. So with me having all these different things going on, they're all coming together just as I need them to. So all that juggling and moving around and trying to figure it out is all really starting to settle in exactly where I want it to. So it's really exciting. 2019 is going to be a huge year.
Yeah, beautiful. What were you doing before that, like 6 months ago, and over the last few years? Where were you?
6 months ago, I still had the Warrior Women Network website itself went live the last week of January this year. Started doing that, I'm really funny when it comes to business because I'm happy to just flow with the journey. I'm not all about getting from A to B in one quick fix. I'm happy to just try things out and see where it goes and meet people and see what they need. So it's kind of evolved and progressed and dog-legged here and there. And I'm just happy to move with that the way that it's going until I really sink into what I want to do.
I'd imagine you giving some people in a board meeting of shareholders some aneurysms with that attitude.
Yes, totally, because I'm kind of I have the control of being able to do what I want to do. I'm really straight up about, I'm going to try this out, and what do you feel about this? And I kind of don't like this anymore, and I feel like I'm more pulled this way, and I'm happy to. I don't. It sounds terrible, but I don't really have that guilt per se on having those expectations thrown across me. Like I should just be insular in what I'm doing and then just stick with that because I said I was going to do that. I take the pressure off myself a lot to just be like, this is my life. And if that's what I'm gravitating towards, I'm going to do it this way and then we'll try this out. And I'm just happy to do it that way. Annoys everyone. Business coaches hate me because they want me to structure more and I don't work like that. But that's me working at my strength. They can do that.
So you more just really intuitively lead yourself and really follow your heart, follow just intuitively where you sort of feel yourself going.
I was probably the one underlying foundation for me that will always stick, and because you still, even when you flitter around and try different things, you still have to kind of come from those core values and core understandings of what you want to do when it comes to business. Is mine's always been about connecting people and connecting with people. So most of the people that join me in my groups or who have come to events or I've been to events too, I have tried to build as close to a personal relationship with them. So I call everyone, as you know, I'm not a texter, I'm a caller. So I call everyone when I want to try things out. I go to events and see people and I'll call them or leave them voice messages. And so my whole thing has been about, as long as I can keep connecting to people to understand what they need or what they want or what their struggles are that they're going through, then I feel like I can still move around because the connection is built and they're happy to join me on my journey rather than me just telling it at them what I need them to subscribe to. They're kind of happy to watch that growth as well.
So subscribing them into your vision and into your story and your big why. And that's beautiful.
And taking them along for my own growth, like it's not, I don't want to ever pop up as a business owner and think that I have it all down, because there will be things, and I'm really open about that through all my journey about how I feel about things or what I'm doing with things or areas that I'm struggling with, so that they're emotionally invested in me the same as I am in them. So it's like having all these friendships that are just happy to see you succeed and they get behind what you're trying to do and they grow with you. So that's kind of my foundation of where I am with business, and that's why I can be a little bit more lenient in not being so like, this is what I said I was going to do 10 years ago and I need to keep sticking with that because of branding. Whereas I'm like, I'm happy to just grow with how it works.
Yeah, beautiful. I want to come back to that as well. But can you share because we're talking about the warrior women, can you share a
Hmm.
bit about that and let people know what's going on there and what you've sort of created and what you're doing?
Yeah, so the whole idea when I first started, and you'll hear my spitter spatter of
Just
everywhere I've gone. Yeah, it started in, like, obviously in February, at the beginning of February, where I wanted it to be a free blogging platform for women in business. So I had all these different categories, and I wanted women who already had blogs just to upload them. So I just wanted it to be, again, another place where they could just be seen externally from their own businesses and things like that. That became a little bit too hard to monitor and to move around with me, and it wasn't commercializing itself, should I say. So I was putting in 40-50 hours a week pretty much, and I wasn't feeling like I was getting the returns. I was getting really resentful, and I was getting really
Yeah.
annoyed with how that was going, because I wasn't valuing my time in that vision, and I had to pull it back a little bit.
Yep.
Then I kind of went more on the wanting to do a lot more one-on-one coaching around authentic connections within business, because that is something that I know that I work really well in, is actually connecting with people, and how to, I'm not one, and everyone markets differently, but I'm more to, when I do any kind of marketing, is talking about, how would I, looking at their future and what their customers could be like, rather than catapulting them into the emotion of pain. Like, one of the little
Yeah.
exercises that I do is I say to women, especially mothers, tell me about the moment your child was born, and they'd go, huh, like they'd ting, and it would smile, and I'm like, see, you're catapulted into that. So the reason that I don't do it, and I've got nothing against anyone else that does it this way, but when I start focusing on things that give them pain, they're also catapulted back into that pain, and I just don't want to make those connections based on that. So I
Yep.
do a lot of work with people focusing on the positive end of the spectrum. And there's obviously going to be businesses out there that have to do that to give them a solution. But for the businesses that I help, we look more at what the outcome could be, and the work, and the transparency, and building slowly and building authentically and good connections to be able to get there. So that's what I was doing, and now I'm moving on to
Yeah.
next year to be doing more events. So I want to kind of be
Yes.
talking about, because what came out of those conversations in those businesses was they weren't even confident enough to promote those businesses yet. So I had to
Mm.
then reverse engineer that a little bit and go a little bit further back and go, okay, so I need you to be in a place where you're passionate and confident and strong enough to want to be seen and exposed online, and sharing what you're doing easily without it feeling
Yeah.
forced or scripted, that it's just coming from that passion place. So now I'm taking things on the road about how to kind of overcome those fears around things, and that's kind of where I'm going to be heading for 2019.
That's amazing. That's so exciting too.
Yeah,
And I love
yeah,
hearing
yeah.
that sort of, I think people with some of the feedback I've been getting is people like watching my mind at work, watching me try and figure something
Mhm.
out. And
Mhm.
yeah, I think it's really, really appealing to listen and sort of see the evolution of an
Mm.
idea and the way it's
Mm.
sort of formed and come up with. So that's really cool. Was there a specific niche that you're working with, or specific type of services or businesses specifically you found yourself attracted to?
Um, yeah, so I tend to want to reflect back who I am, like my people. So I work with a lot of women kind of between the age of about 32 to 40, who have got young children, that have got businesses, that are trying to balance everything at once, because I don't think I personally could relate to someone who maybe doesn't have children or working 60 hours, because I can't devote that much time to it either. So I need like attract like in my demographic. So I tend to go for, yeah, the mums, the people that are trying to start a business from the ground up, that don't have huge investors or huge sponsors, and they're doing it from a sole purpose. It's something that they've physically either chosen to leave a job, or they're trying to get back into the workforce again, but they want to do something more fulfilling. So it's driven from not an essential need. They're doing it because they just are demanding more for their life. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and that's what I get from your story in what you're saying before about having that freedom to sort of maneuver. Um,
Mm.
what I can I guess, recognized from my own experience and also with the experience of others as well, is just that neediness when you've got that
Mhm.
sense of desperation because you need to provide for yourself or you need to just cover that bottom
Yep.
line. You come from
Mhm.
that real desperate space of need, and it just it wafts off you, and people know
Mhm.
that there's that energy. So it's and that's what I'm recognizing now as well. The shift in what I'm doing is that
Yes.
it's completely from a space of freedom, of joy, and wanting to just give back. And this, it's
Yes.
the focus is not on me whatsoever,
Mhm.
and it's just
Mhm.
opened up that sense of freedom and movement. So, is that what you find a lot of the women you work with us sort of got to transition from?
So I really believe in um, one of the things I just moments ago before this chat was talking about you create your own fate. So one of you create the reality that you're in. So if you're doing things out of that, my door, if you're creating things out of desperation and need, and it's not coming from a place where you will find the desperate, needy people will find you, and that becomes a problem within itself. So I'm
Yeah.
a huge believer in manifesting like, and I totally understand it from the energetic and the energy work that goes with that. But I also mean from a functional point of view, you have to commit to the outcome that you want for the right reasons, and things will show up. I could give you 10 different scenarios in the last 3 weeks
Hmm.
where I've gone, this is what I need. Like I need it to come to me. I'm just going to let it go and it'll find its way back to me, but I'm going to do this one way or the other, and it
Yeah.
will show up if you're coming from that place. Like I think we've all
Yeah.
had situations where we've seen manifesting your reality work in the opposite. So it's kind of like, when like in the bad way. So here's an example that I use is one week my children were driving me absolutely crazy, and I was
Just 1 week.
exhausted. Yeah, all the time, daily, and they were driving me bonkers. I was just suffocated. I needed a break. I just needed a couple of hours of space. But because I was in that like, and just really frustrated and really just coming from that negative space of desperation, desperately needing space, I ended up going in hospital that week. So I got my space just
Yeah.
like I
Well.
had wanted, but I got it the way that I had asked for it. And it was out of anger and
Yeah.
desperation and not the way that I needed it. So, manifesting works in both the positive and the negative. And I want to help people be more aware of that, about if you're committing to it, make sure it's something that uplifts you and makes you feel good. Because if you start going, even if it's like, how they talk about like you need a bill paid or something like that. Here's another example of it happening badly. Years ago, I tried to get out of a phone bill, right? Whatever. Tried to get out of this phone bill, and I was talking my way out of it, trying to get this phone bill waived, right? And I think it was only like, at the time, this is years ago, probably about $80. No joke. I was on the Gold Coast driving up the highway. My car blew 3 tires. $240 it cost me. Yeah.
Really.
So I get instantly if I'm doing something dodgy or I'm coming from a place of like, so that was like just deceitful, it would just
Mm.
instantly come back and do that. So, and on the positive, so I did a small business expo the other week, and I kind of said I need a certain specific amount of questions answered. So I just kind of, I don't know who I'm even going to ask about this, but I'm going to the small business expo, so hopefully someone will. I had every single one of those questions answered, and it's now catapulted another business that I will launch in June next year, just based on me going, I know, like, I just need that to be answered and it will find its way to me. So it's just about committing and taking all the woo woo out of it. It's like, if you commit to the outcome and you just are like, there's
Hmm.
no hurdle in front of me that's going to stop me from getting what I need, and I'm going
Yep.
to figure it out, it will show up, but you just have to trust in that as well.
I think it's really powerful, what you said right at the start there about the letting go process.
Hmm.
And I remember doing a workshop where we wrote down all of our goals and dreams and aspirations and did like this letting go ceremony, almost letting go process.
Hmm.
And it was so profound for me. It was probably one of the one of the times that I've felt the biggest weight lifted off my shoulders. I've done different
Yes.
things like
Yep.
timeline therapy, different belief systems but as far as letting go of that, the weight of those goals and those expectations, those hopes and dreams, and giving them over to whoever, so it wasn't on me, and actually letting go was so profound. And that was the ultimate show of
Yeah.
trusting that it's going to come and believing that it's going to come. Because if we're holding on to and grasping it, like, well, I really want this goal, I really want it, I really want it, really want it, I've got to get it, got to get it. It's like you're basically saying, if you don't let go of this shit, like, it probably won't come. It's essentially what you're saying.
Well,
And
it's
so,
about the energy in that obsession as well, because you don't obsessively go, I need it to come. When you're in that good zone, you're saying it will, like it is. But when you're so
yeah,
obsessed with something, you're already doubting with the words that you're saying. You're already saying, is it going to show up? I need it to. You're already kind of you're already growing that seed of doubt anyway. So you're already starting to kind of drop what's happening. So even if it does, even if you are obsessively looking at it, as you kind of drop down in that area, you then might get people that will help you, but they may not be the same, have the same values as you, and it causes more issues. So it's shown up, but not in the way that you needed it to, you know, with the right people as well.
sort of that feeling of I've already got it. Time just needs to catch up. It's already here.
Yeah.
It's not even about
Yeah.
if or when or I want. That's a thing already. And really, also talk about future pacing and really feeling like you've already felt it. Joe Dispenza is big on just getting people to really feel like they've already got what they say they want.
Yep.
And transmuting that. So it's powerful.
I tend to back myself into a corner so that there's no other option than it succeeding, because then I can't even doubt myself out of it, because I've either overcommitted, or I've gone and bought something that means I'm locked into it, or something. But I tend to back myself into a corner so that there's no other option other than it working, because if I leave that room, I will pull it apart and start to look at it too logically rather than just knowing. So I'll back myself into a corner and be like, yep, I'm doing that. That's happening. Book me in. Here's the deposit, or here's this, or here's that. I'll find a way that I cannot get out of it. And the only way for it to work is to succeed, or else, I'll just pull it apart.
Was that a story about burning the boats at the dock? No, some sort of old metaphor about the armies going into battle and they're burning their ships, so they either win the battle or they lose.
Totally. Once you get to a point where you're like, you know, there is no other option, and once you just be like, I've had certain different things happen where I've had to make large purchases, and I've used this story a lot with some of my clients about, I didn't have the money and I committed, and I had like a 3-day deadline, and ended up getting a phone call, and I was needing to be back paid something that I'd been overcharged from, and the full amount was in my account 2 days before that deadline, you know, because I was like, I'm having it, I'll figure it out, I'm going to find a way, but it's mine. And it showed up just because I had just overcommitted.
It's awesome. And there, like you said, there's countless examples of these that can pop up. It's sort of like, until you have the evidence for yourself, unfortunately, people just don't have that sense of belief. But it's the more we sort of hear, the more I hear these stories as well, you sort of live vicariously through others, and at least you don't even need to believe it. You just need to put it to practice and be open to it, really.
Well, I mean, it's like anything. Like it doesn't even have to be on a large scale like that. You can be like, I'm going to be late for work this morning. I'm going to be late, and all of a sudden you get every single red light. People don't feel like they have that's within their power, but it's like, you know, if you're wanting to put resistance between you and something else, then you're energetically going to put the resistance there that you need. Like, it doesn't. And I'm not particularly well versed in like energy work like that as well, but I know how functionally that's worked in my life, both for and against me, because of the way that I attract certain people or attract certain situations, that I know that, you know, if I'm rude to someone in a shop, I know that someone's going to be rude back to me within 10 minutes of that happening, because it's like, yeah, I deserve that. You know, and
Nice
knowing
balance.
where my response, yeah, always, you know, I think I saw a video of you doing that the other day about duality. Is that what you were talking about? And how you have the
Yes.
good and bad and everything, and it will balance itself out. So if you can put yourself in the center of that and understand that you have full control then of what is happening for you rather than at you, then you can be a lot more aware of how you're treating people, how you're treating yourself, how you're showing up in the world, how you're going out, and how you approach people. You know, if you answer a phone being like, oh, hey, how you going? 9 times out of 10, the person will respond back to you in the tone that you've given them. Or by the end of the conversation, they've dropped down to meet you at that level. So if you're hyper and loud and happy, people will want to step up. So it's just that, you know,
Yeah.
meeting each other like that.
I think the key there is what you said is being aware,
Mm,
because, and I was actually speaking to a few people the last few days. This has come up where if you've got two people or you've got a room, right, and we're just here having a chat and someone comes in with a big energy and you know it, like you've felt
mm-hmm,
it before, everyone's energy lifts to their level.
mm-hmm,
And the same if someone mopey comes in, oh, and everyone's just, oh, God damn, like the
mm,
mood just drops.
mm-hmm,
Um, and
mm-hmm,
that's when it's unconsciously happening. But when you're
mm,
conscious and you're aware and you understand
yeah.
that no matter what, the most powerful energy is either going to raise the people up or it's going to pull them down. So
Mm-hmm,
when you're aware of it, you can then master that and you can control the room. You can have
yes.
that charisma in your energy and hold your space.
Yes.
And the people that come in that do have negative energy or low dense energy, you're actually able to raise them up to your level because they cannot physically stay there. They need
Mm-hmm,
to, they will raise
yep.
up. It needs to sink. It's like when mothers hold their babies and their heartbeat sinks, or when girls live with each other, their menses sync. Like everything is
Mm-hmm,
energy flowing.
mm-hmm.
It all syncs up. So we can control it. We are the creators. Yeah.
One of the ways that I explain it as well, like exactly what you're saying, is I would say to people, what do you feel like you radiate as a number, right? So one
Yeah.
being like fucked pretty much. You're just over it. You've had enough. 10 being, you know, you're just top of the world, high on life, right? Totally. Right. If you feel like outwardly, because I'm all about the internal feeling. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty harsh with, like, I think that words of affirmation are great to trigger that emotion, but you can be telling me that you're happy 100 times a day, but if your energy when you come into my space is really low, it doesn't matter what is if you're not feeling what you're saying. So,
No.
and I'm really, really funny about that. So it's always about the feeling. So I say to people, if you could radiate a number, what do you feel like you're radiating? Because when you go into a room, you see it happening with people. So say you were radiating at an 8 and I'm radiating at a 4. I watch this physically happening where the level 8 and the level 4 will come in line with each other, and either the 8 has to drop down, which is normally when someone who's really big and happy is like, oh, I feel wrecked after that because you've done that, or the 4 has to step up, right?
Yeah.
Is this making sense? Am I just
Yeah,
rambling?
absolutely. No, 100%.
So then you see what happens is the level 4 will either level up or they'll step back because they can't match it. So they'll be intimidated by it and they'll move away. So you know,
Yeah.
like I see that working often, that if you're really
Yeah.
good, the people that say don't like you or don't get you or whatever, they may be a little bit bitey, but they tend to you have your own auto filtration system of people. You don't
Yeah.
have to worry about it. It will figure itself out as long as you choose not to dip and match them instead of it the other way. Then they'll
Yeah.
filter themselves away from you and you don't need to even worry
Hell
about it.
yes. Yeah, really quickly too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And work that brings up working with people as well. A lot of people that are able to maintain their energy just want to lift people up and they try and get
Mm-hmm.
someone that's a 4, like, just come on, jump up and be an 8 with me. But
Mm-hmm.
there's this emotional scale that you can look up, and it basically shows you
Yeah.
the steps, and you really need to be gentle with people to raise them up, because
Mm-hmm.
if it's impossible to go boom straight up like that, to lift people from, yeah, really low
And
to
I
really high.
think, and I think normally they wouldn't, to make them go from like a 4 to an 8, say, they probably wouldn't do it anyway because they would like. it would, like, you would have to, there would have to be a balance in there somewhere. So there would have to be that energy exchange where, in order for them to come up and then resisting it, normally I would find that those people, say it was from a business point of view and you're at an 8 and they're at a 4 and you're trying to, the ones that are absolutely not willing to bring it up and are expecting you to come down will normally be the ones that cancel, that bail on you, that don't commit, that don't put in the work. You're seeing that happening in that resistance, just in that practical form, that they're trying to pull away because they're not ready or they don't want to. So, and that is a choice for them. And when they do get to that choice of them stepping it up, that's sometimes the only way that it will actually get there.
Yeah, yeah. And everyone's at where they're at. Like, I know I've sort of felt bad in the past and wanted to make myself smaller because of wherever other people are at. But it is really our responsibility to maintain our truth, our core, and be the best version of ourselves, to maintain that, to really set the example for them, because that today might not be the day for them to raise up. But if they see an example like yourself that's just radiating at that point, that's being yourself, that's expressing yourself openly, being true, at least that is inspiration, and it's an example for them of where they can get to as well, instead of coming down. And
well, it's not to say that I'm radiating that high all the time, because that ain't true. But the whole idea of them making that choice as well, and about them being where they're at. One of those examples that I use as well is, you know, when you meet a friend at a certain point in your life and you get on really, really well, and then all of a sudden you start to distance yourself from each other and you feel like they're just not supporting me anymore, or they're not understanding me, or every time we're around each other we just bicker, or we're just pulling each other apart. And as you go up, because, you know, like attracts like, so you're both at the same point. And one of the things that I talk a lot about, just generally in my personal life as well, is about personal responsibility and how far people are willing to go to pick those people up. Whereas I'm like, that's on you, mate. Like, that's, you know, I'm happy to help you through it, but I don't feel responsible for where you are. I don't have problem, and this sounds horrible, but I don't have problem seeing people in pain, because I think pain sometimes can be liberating for those pivotal moments of change where you just go, enough is enough and things have to change. So I don't want to be the person that's constantly band-aiding them and robbing them of that pivotal moment that could be the catalyst for their entire life changing. So so I don't, like, the personal responsibility is kind of where I'm at with those conversations around, it's not up to, my phone's dying, it's not up to me to bring you up. If you want to meet me here, I'm here and waiting, but I'm not willing to sacrifice my anything, like my energy or anything, in order to bring you up, because I know that you'll just pull me back down. Because it's like building a house and starting with the walls and you've got no foundation. If you bring them up that quick, it's going to crumble anyway, because it wasn't built the way that it should have been.
100%. Yeah. And that's what a lot of people have issues with. And in hindsight, you speak to anybody and you say, those pains that you felt in the past, what did you learn from them? And would you change them? And when you get to the core of it, they're extremely grateful for every single one of those pains and challenges. And they recognize that every single one of them was a catalyst for being who they are today. And so it's not our job to keep everyone rosy and happy and make sure that no one feels any pain. In fact, a lot of the time, if we're the one that creates the pain for someone, we're one of their biggest teachers at that time. And so
totally, absolutely. And being able to see and being able to be okay with that is another part of that personal responsibility, of not feeling like you need to fix somebody or need to create that space for them by sacrificing yourself, really is you being loving towards them, because you go, I know you've got this, like, I don't want to, and one of my things is I don't want to steal the credit from you, because I want you to do this for yourself, so that later you look back and go, I did this for myself. So you've got like that memory of a time where you didn't think you could do something and you've proven yourself wrong, and I don't want to be the one that gets put in between that memory and your own ability. So I don't have as many issues about robbing someone of their rock bottom, because I feel like the most powerful stuff is when people are confronted with their choices in their life and they go, no, this is my time to make changes. It's, yeah, I just,
So
it
true.
sounds horrible. I'm happy to help people,
No,
but
it's not horrible at
I'm not
all.
happy to, yeah, I'm just not willing to be the one that comes in and swoops in to make it easier.
Yeah, you're doing them a disservice, enabling them. Yeah, enabling their excuses,
Absolutely.
justifications, not allowing them to feel it. Yeah, and that's a part of being yourself and it really expressing yourself and staying in your true power as well. Yeah, not making yourself small for them. Can I ask who are some of your most influential people that you look up to and that have sort of had an impact on your life?
I don't really have well-known people that I look up to. I've got people in my community of women and the groups that I'm in, because for me, the impact for me is watching the dichotomy of their situation. So, you know, it could just be a regular everyday mum who has come from a super abusive relationship with 4 children and working 2 jobs, and she's still happy and going into the world being kind and strong and working charity jobs to help other and still giving and so my idols come from more of the everyday stories rather than and there's definitely stories of people out there who have done incredible things and are, you know, CEOs and things like that, and they have definitely started. But my inspiration comes from the real people still living real lives who are making the best of their situation and still, you know, even in the most dire of situations, are still hopeful. And I think that can be one of the hardest things, not even in the doing, but still having hope that it can be better and still do better. So I really idolize so many different people in their situations just for still going, even though felt like I've been beaten down 10 different times, I still feel like the next one's going to be the best one, or this is going to be the breakthrough, and still having that continual hope. They're the people that I really
Yeah.
take that from.
Yeah, fantastic. And it is so easy when things are going well to think positively. It's when things are
Yes.
in the mud and in the dust where you can still imagine yourself in that future. Yeah, having all
Yeah.
those things, being that kind of person, still smiling
Yeah.
and pushing through and being there for others.
Yeah.
That's pretty full on.
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
it's just
fantastic.
in the, you know, the beauties in the everyday, you know, like I know a few people that have got, you know, 4 children, 3 of them have like learning disabilities, they're a single parent, like they're just doing all these things, and they're not out to do these and conquer the world. They're just out to make sure their family's happy and safe and as connected as what they can be, and in those really ultra stressful times, whereas they might not have a huge goal to go and do something huge, they do, yeah, they're still trudging away and they're still, you know, happy and they're still laughing and they're still, and I just find that truly inspiring in just the everyday experience.
Yeah, 100%. I feel it.
Yeah.
And that's actually what this since I've been getting people on here and talking to a lot of people, that the stories that have come up of yeah, amazing full-on situations that people have just yeah been able to see the other side and come out
Yeah.
of and be there for other people. It's truly inspirational.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
can you share with me, like, going back a little bit about how you don't tend to market towards people's pain but towards the pleasure of the future? I know there's a lot of people in my network that are like coaches or service-based businesses, or people just starting in business, getting themselves out there. Um, can you, yeah, sort of share a little bit about that process and your thoughts around that?
So I always think that it's about practicing what you preach first and foremost. And always kind of living that true experience. So when you're showing people what is possible, it's about hitting the road, and for me it's all about connection and talking to people about what is possible. So get in front of those people and talk to those people about what is possible talk about your story. So I'm putting my workshop together, Take on the Road, and it's called White Trash to Warrior Woman, right? And it's all about my story with labels. Yeah, it's all
I
about
love
my
it.
story with labels and my situations that I've been in, and having like a truckload of different things going on for me, and making that choice. So if you're wanting to show people what's possible, show people what's possible. If you want to market to and show people how to market to their future, show them. Not just take a photo on a beach and go like, look what I'm doing. Like, talk to them about how they feel. Like, I know women particularly, they're not gonna buy into an idea because of a beach, because their value set is different. They want to know that their kids are going to have fun. They're going to want to know that it's going to connect them with their partners. They're going to want to feel like it's memories made. If you're going to speak to people and show them what's possible, show them really what's possible, not just a photo of a skyscraper. Show them what, you know, show them from a feeling, show them from smiles, show them from connection, show them from fulfillment. Speak to them in a live video, because people can see passion. You can speak it, but they can see it in your eyes, they can see it in your demeanor, they can see it in your vitality and when you're talking. So if you want to show people what is possible, and market to people about what you're trying to help them do, show them by how you feel, how your customers feel, how your clients feel.
Yeah.
Show them about where you talk to them about where you've come from, and the blocks that you've faced, and the breakthrough. And not just, I went from making $4,000 to $50,000 in a week. That might work for some people, but for the people that I know, the money doesn't matter if the balance in the household is out. It doesn't matter if they're making 50 grand in a week, but their children are acting up, or they haven't seen friends in 6 months. It won't be worth it to them. That's the people that I work with. So it'll obviously be different for different people, but show them how following your dreams and your passions creates balance and happiness and fulfillment and passion and memories and all those things. That's what people want now, because everyone is craving connection, and not even just connection with people, but connection to something bigger than themselves. They're craving connection on something that is going to make them, break their lineage, and what is always expected, and following their own rules. Show them. This is my passion talking. So it's
I love
like,
it.
yeah. So, and this is what I mean. This is, if you're wanting to market to people, market from a place where it's going to improve their life, not just their bank account, because most people won't
Yeah.
subscribe to that anymore, because real people are buying from real people, and they want to know there is more than money. And obviously money does help you have freedom of choice and freedom of being able to do things and provide things and go places and things like, and expand in businesses. But if you're taking it back, I say to people, talk to them why. Like, that's one of the first things we do in strategy sessions. Tell me why you do what you do, not what you offer. Tell me why you do this, and what made you decide to do this and help people. Like, what was the moment for you? You tell people that, they will instantly get on board with you, or they won't,
Yeah.
because they're going to feel that from you. They're going to
Yeah.
feel that you're committed to the happiness and the result, rather than it just being a production line of things going on. They're going to feel invested in you as well.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
It's no just surface level stuff anymore. It's not gonna cut it.
No, no, because we have so much surface level stuff in front of us all the time. Everything's quick.
Yeah.
We don't have to commit to anything quickly. We have a million different options for one thing. There's 20 different things in the marketplace. We don't need, we have the options to be indecisive and impulsive and things like that. So when it comes to buying into, say, programs, or something that's life changing, or something that's going to make someone feel good, they want to feel it, because
Yeah.
everything else is so easily at their fingertips.
Yeah. Definitely. It makes me think of you said before about how the words are just they can words are cheap basically, but it's more about getting into the body and the feeling of it.
Yeah,
And one of the things in sales, the first thing you learn is that something like 6% of your communication is your words, and over 60% of it is your body language and the feeling
totally.
of it. So it's imperative, yeah, to
Yeah,
really feel into that
absolutely.
and allow others to feel what you're feeling.
Absolutely.
So,
And again, with people investing on your journey, and like I said, like I
mm,
can be really flittery about what I'm doing because my commitment to my values doesn't change, and that is connecting with people and connecting to people and with people and connecting them together. That's my value foundation, and helping women be strong within themselves. So that never wavers. So it doesn't matter all the external crap on the top,
yeah.
the feeling and the purpose doesn't change.
Do you remember that shift from focus being on your own insecurities and your own fears and
Hmm.
doubts to thinking of other people and
I'm a bit
embodying
worried
this
my
value
phone's going to
system?
die.
Oh,
Just
do you
saying, I'm
need to
just a
get a
bit worried.
charger?
So if yeah, it's just I'll have to take my headphones out. That's my only concern.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah,
What, how
because
many, what
iPhones
percentage are we
hangs.
at?
I'm not sure. Let me have a look. 5,
Okay.
5%. So I'll go quick. Sorry, what was the question?
Do you remember the shift from feeling the feelings of insecurities and maybe self-doubts and the focus being on yourself um, to then going outwardly and realizing that it is about the others and having this value system of connecting and helping other people?
I think it was coming from, it had grown from my own situation. So so my business itself came through, my partner and I last year, I live in Queensland and he jumped on a plane and went to Adelaide, right? So I was off with the kids. I had a market research kind of event going on 3 days later. I had $100 to my name for pretty much a fortnight, had no idea what I was going to do. Was dealing with all this stuff, then had an event. I was petrified of public speaking. So it was like trying to overcome that, as well as everything was just crumbling because I roll with the punches really easily. If I'm going to be challenged, I have to have everything fall apart at once because I can roll with it pretty well. So it was all crumbling all at once. And I got in front of people and explained what was going on for me. Like, instead of just trying to like suck it up, I just explained what was going on and about being strong and how many people had identified with that. And I knew in that moment, after doing that event, as technically bad as what it was, because it was terrible, but I got so much out of it. Like, I met so many
Yeah.
great people. I got so much out of it. I love doing it. What I really connected with was the level of self-doubt that women had, and I was like, for some reason in me, I feel like I have this fierceness of always wanting more, and I've always valued myself enough to go, I'm not going to wait for you to invite me into that conversation, I'm going to be in that conversation. So I've always had that level of fierceness innate in me, but
Yeah.
I saw that a lot of women didn't have it, and I wanted to be like,
Yes.
well, I'm gonna show you how to your personality. So not to be as full on or as intense as what I go after things, but at least you can improve it in your own. And that's
Yeah.
kind of where that happened, when I was standing in front of those women and seeing that that was my strength. Even in all that, resilience was my strength, because I was going through something huge, and I still felt this need to go, I want to show you how you can still keep going and how you can
Yeah.
still make a great situation out of this by using my own life story, my own example, really.
Yeah. It's phenomenal, I think, when you figure out how to communicate your story in
Hmm.
a really impactful way like that, and you can
Hmm.
really reach out and touch people. That's
Hmm.
another pretty amazing turning point. Do you want to share? I'm conscious of your battery, but do you want to share um, how people can connect with you and what you're doing for 2019 and the things
Yeah.
the message you'd like to get out there and help with people with?
Yeah, so if anyone wants to follow me, they can jump on Facebook and Instagram and just search the Warrior Women Network. You can follow me on there. For any women looking to see the workshops, and we've just had some coaches come onto the online group, the self-empowerment group. So we've got a health, a fitness and a wellbeing coach that also help me as admin in there. We do live mini workshops once a week. So there's different ones going on, so people can get different information about how to support yourself physically, mentally, and just from a soul, spiritual level as well. So you can find all those links on Facebook. You can check out the website, warriorwomennetwork.com, and make sure you tune into the Warrior Women radio show on the Warrior Women radio show on powerfmradio.com.au, and that is Wednesdays and Sundays from 9 till 10 a.m. as well. And you can go over to Power TV Australia to see any of the shows that I've put together. And 2019, I'm going to be taking pretty much what I've been talking about on the road, and we're going to be speaking to women about resilience and about creating your own fate, and about losing the labels and how you can take control, and how personal responsibility for your life will free you. Yeah. And so we're going to be taking that out. So get on board now so you can see all the events and everything that's coming up.
Beautiful. I love it. I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's touch base again. Let's do this again in a couple of months and see where it's all at for what you've got going on as well.
100%. Yeah, I think that'd be great. Yeah.
Yeah.
Look forward to it.
Awesome.
And yeah, thanks for joining us, and thanks for having a good chat and opening up. I think it's been, I put in the title in the bio, like social media influencing and content creation. And I think we hit the nail on the head with just being open-hearted and being real, being raw, connecting with people, and coming from that space. It's not what people see, like go take some photos of yourself in your bikini at the beach, or sit on top of a skyscraper flashing cash in front of your face. It's about being real and actually connecting with people. And if you can get you know 10,000 followers pretty easily by just paying for them, and the fake ones. But if you can get 10 or 50 or 100 real people in your network that really care and buy into your vision, then that's worth more than any 10,000 followers you got.
Absolutely. And I've never been about a numbers game either. I'm all about this. So someone put me, here's a shout out for the I can't remember what it's called, Quiet Marketing, I think it's called, with Danielle Gardner. She's all about the slow build as well. So she's definitely someone to look out for as well, about creating that retention and that tribe. But it's 100% of people being engaged in what you're doing and being about, and that's how I work. It's about, you think about it when it was in school, you might have wanted to be the most popular person in school and have 100 people like you. But when you get to your 20s and 30s, you just want 5 people around you who've got your back no matter what. And it's like that in business. You should have people that have got your back, that are investing in you, that want to share the growth with you, share the journey with you, rather than just buying followers who are just liking things because and even from it doesn't translate to sales, but it doesn't translate to you getting the return of your emotional investment if people aren't investing back in you as well. So you're not going to feel like what you're doing is resonating, or it's connecting with people, or it's making a difference like you started out to, because you're not having that loyalty and that connection with everyone.
100%. Bang on.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your insights, your wisdom, and for joining me. It's been amazing and really, really awesome that we've been able to connect as well. I'm pumped.
Yeah, well, next one will be having you on the show on Power FM next year, so that's going to be fun. I'll be able to flip it and reverse it, and we'll be able to have a chat about it.
100%. I'm all for it.
All right, perfect. All right, well, it was great chatting with everyone. Hi to everyone who's been watching this whole time. And make sure you connect with me as well. If you have any questions, please PM me as well. I'd love to chat with you.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining, guys. We'll chat to you soon.
Bye.